No, I mean, they really don't get it. And so it's very frustrating. I'm one of the ambassadors to get it back in the Olympics. So I'm in these meetings, and it's unbelievable how much they don't like the U.S., how much they don't want us to win anymore, anything, and they're upset that baseball doesn't send their best athletes, and somehow softball gets kind of lumped into that. So, I'm not trying to diminish your dreams, but I definitely want to be honest. I can say, you know what, we're going to be back, for sure, but right now, until they can change their leadership, unfortunately, that was probably the biggest reality for me, is to realize that something that I care so much about, the Olympic Games, can actually be so disappointing behind the scenes. The Olympics are still the most amazing event, I think, in the world, hands down. But the people running it, well, like I said, what they were before, I don't really need it, but they're not the smartest people either. Wow, it's as quiet as we can get. Even Brittany in the back was like chatty Cathy when I got here. Oh yeah.
How many miles do you travel a year?
How many miles do I travel a year? Enough to be like high status on every airline in the country. Yeah, it's bad when like you start seeing flight attendants. They're like, yeah, I had you like last week. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I travel a lot. Probably, honestly, a lot less now that I'm a mom. My son comes with me a lot. He's got status on a couple of airlines, which is crazy. He had a passport when he was 5 months old. So I'm very blessed to have a husband that supports me and allows me to be able to do all that I do. But I definitely travel less, because even coming here, he's on with me now, and I just can't wait to get back to him. So it's different. You know, normally I'm enjoying, not that I don't enjoy this, but I would probably lengthen a trip and be able to go into Charleston, see a little more of the area, or hang around Sumter. Instead, I'm like, I'll take a red eye back just to be able to see him first thing.
Did you get a scholarship straight out of high school, or?
Yeah, I did. I was recruited by UCLA, Arizona, and Stanford, and UCLA did not offer me any money, and they were about an hour away from me, and I really considered going there, because that was the school, probably how South Carolina is for a lot of you guys. My parents took me to their games. I really wanted to go there, but Stanford, when I took a recruiting trip, I realized it was more of who I was. Ironically, I wanted to go somewhere when I would graduate, I'd be more than just an athlete. And I really wanted a degree that I'd be proud of, and I could enter the workplace and be, look, I'm not just a job. And the irony to that is that I'm still playing softball. I also do a lot of other things, but I chose a school that was really more me. And UCLA, honestly, for me, was more that jock oriented. They had special classes for athletes, and which my teammates at the time that went to UCLA loved that. They had classes specifically for athletes that were designated for you, so they work with you a little bit more. I didn't like that. I wanted to go somewhere where it would be kind of hard. That's always me. I like the hard path. That's me, all the way.
What was your degree in?
My undergraduate was in English and history with a double major, and then I got my master's in education because I wanted to, I didn't want to necessarily teach, I wanted to actually work in DC, change our education system. So that was my plan out of college, and I haven't gotten it yet. So those degrees are still sitting there waiting to use them.
So my second question is, I noticed that you were batting left-handed, throwing right-handed. Do you
You have a good eye.
Well, my child's left-handed, so I noticed these things. Did you always bat left-handed, or do you always bat left-handed?
Yeah, my dad was a baseball, Division I college baseball coach. So he was a switch hitter, and he found that if you're right-handed, most of the time you're right-eye dominant. And if you're right-eye dominant, him as a left-handed hitter, he could see the ball so much better. So when my sister and I, he didn't have the boys, he had girls. So he wanted the baseball players, and he got girls, which I love, because now he's totally, we just walk all over him. But when he raised us, it was, picked up that bat right-handed, and he was like, nope, hold it like this. So I've never bat from the right side, and I'm right-handed. My sister and I both were left-handed from the beginning, like hitting because of my dad. And actually my son, who's 2.5, but we do batting practice. I'm not gonna lie, we have a little cage in the backyard. He's gonna be left-handed too, he throws right, but I got him. But what's really cool, sorry, I'm gonna share a story, but what's really cool is I never taught him to pick up the bat left-handed, but he watches me hit. And so now he literally spreads his legs. I have a very wide stance. He'll spread his legs and make sure he looks at his legs and he picks up that bat left-handed as we were telling him. And he tries to swing like mom. So, it's cool.
Is your husband a good athlete?
Yeah, my husband's a really good athlete. He played baseball in college, and he's a civil engineer for a long time, and he quit his job 2 years ago to be a stay-at-home dad. So, good man. Takes a very unique man to be a stay-at-home dad. and the wife's the professional athlete. That doesn't get more role or something like that.
Did you play any other sports in high school?
Yes. Great question, Miss Jeffrey. We were talking about that in the car right here. She asked if I played any other sports in high school. I played actually every sport under the sun my whole life, and then when I got to high school, I did soccer, basketball, and softball. And honestly, when I was telling Jeffrey in the car, is I think it's so important to play as many sports as possible, because if I had to choose a sport, when a lot of athletes are being told to choose a sport now, early high school, I would have picked basketball. Because I love basketball more than I was better at basketball than softball when I was younger. And if I had picked basketball and quit softball, I was a forward. I'm 5'9". That's not, I'm not going to the Olympics as a 5'9" basketball player. So I loved that I kept playing and then ended up being softball because that was obviously the right choice. So I think it's important to play other sports. And I think I learned my explosive, I'm very explosive when I hit, like my legs. And I really believe I learned that being a forward in basketball. Like going up for rebounds, fighting, boxing people out. I feel like I really used my legs in basketball, and that carried over into softball. Like cross-training, I guess. All right, you guys right here. It's my core group. I've been talking to you guys pretty much all night. Who's got a question? I know you guys are normally this shy. You guys came over and practically sat on my lap for dinner.
Can you show your muscles like you did in that video?
That's what I get? I'll send you the photo.
You have my number. What were you going to ask? What do you do for ESPN?
What do I do for ESPN? I'm the college softball lead analyst. So college softball, we start airing college softball at the end of this month. I highly recommend for you guys to record college softball games because, and not because I'm doing it, but because it is so cool that we get to turn on TV now and see the next level. My dad used to drive me to college and see, which I think is awesome. The fact that you have South Carolina here is great too. And when Alabama, Florida, LSU, those schools play at South Carolina, nothing against South Carolina, but those, Alabama and Florida are probably top 3 teams in the country. And LSU's got a new coach, Beth Tarina, who actually coaches me in the summer. She's amazing. So but if you can record college softball games, I'm telling you what, it's so cool to be able to watch that next level and emulate some of these athletes. So that starts at the end of the month, and then I signed a contract with MLB ESPN. Actually, Jeffrey got it here. I was like on the phone on the way here trying to talk because I'm going to be covering the Angels and doing some baseball tonight stuff, which would be really cool. The only problem is I play in the summer, so I'm like torn because to really do MLB, obviously that's the heart of the season, and for 3 months I play and I can't do anything. So, and then I also do college football sideline reporting. So, yeah, keeps me busy. Oh, and I also, college baseball, I became the first female analyst last year when I did a Florida-Alabama baseball game. So I was in the booth, instead of being a reporter, I was an analyst in the booth talking the game, which is the first time they've ever had a woman do that. So that would be cool. I'm hoping to do a few more. Actually, I think I have a South Carolina game this year. So I'll let Jeffrey know, and you guys can watch, and I'll be in the booth breaking down swings. And so.
Was your sister a good athlete?
Was my sister? My sister was an amazing athlete, and the irony between her and I is when I talk about loving the game, she didn't love the game. And she got really burned out. And I love my sister. We're just totally different. But she got a full ride scholarship to Oregon State on her talent. And she's probably more talented. She's definitely more talented defensively. I mean, she had hands. I mean, she could field balls. You know, you see people that just like field anything gets near them, and they somehow like suck it in with their glove. And you're like, how did they do that? That was my sister. But she just, my dad pushed her the same way he pushed me. And it worked for me, and it didn't work for her. She was like, she literally walked away from a scholarship after a few years. Just was like, I'm done playing. She finished and graduated, but she'd rather pay her own way than play softball. So she was a great athlete, but unfortunately, some people have that want, some people don't. So it's funny how you come from the same family and have two totally different, outcomes. Another question?
What are all your goals now? Like your next goals?
Well, besides hitting home runs opposite field and
Yeah.
some of the softball. Honestly, right now it changes. I want, like, my number one goal is to be a really good mom. I mean, that's like my number one priority. Actually, Jeffrey knows I haven't gone to bed. Last night I hadn't slept the whole night, so I'm like going on plain sleep right now, like fumes, because my son was up all night and then my husband was sick, so I was like two babies, all night. But my goal is really just to try to balance all the things that I'm doing, because I want to continue making an impact for girls across the country and even throughout the world. But I also want to still be that person at home. So it's hard. But I don't have everyone always asks me, what do you want to do after? And the reason I'm doing so many things is because I feel like I'm always going to be like that. I don't think I'll ever just do one thing, because I love reaching people, But we'll see. If I had 10.5 million kids, I'm going to have to stay home more. So.
When you were in high school and going through college, how did you navigate boys and not get distracted with your goals? Because I see a ton of. I've been a minister for 20 years and a coach for softball and all that kind of thing. And I see a lot of girls. They get distracted with boys and they don't know how to navigate it, and then they forget their dreams and go with the guy and they end up doing nothing.
Yeah, and I think. Because I think it's important to have a social life, and, I think it's important to date and be able to do everything that you would want to do in high school, but I think it's more important to realize, still be who you are. And I think what I see in the situation you're talking about is, I dated in high school. My dad was a head football coach at my high school, so that kind of limited the amount of guys that wanted to really ask me out. I had a lot of friends, but no one actually wanted to go out with me, because my dad would kick their butt, so it didn't work out very well. But I did, I dated in high school, I dated in college, but once I found myself almost losing, because I think that happens a lot, where you get to where you want to be the person for that guy, or you want to be that person for even your friends, you get caught up in that, the moment, basically. High school to me is all about the moment. You have, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I had no foresight. I wasn't thinking 5 years from now or even 1 year from now. I was thinking about, I really like this guy and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to go out with him. That's priority one for your day. But I think the biggest thing is to always remember who you are and what you want to do. And you can still have fun. I mean, honestly, I was still able to have a ton of friends. I was able to date and have fun and do all the things that anyone else would do. I went to prom, I did everything. I wouldn't change a thing. But, I was always able to, when it got to the point where it's too serious or anything, I knew that I always wanted to stay who I was. You can still, honestly, you can even be in a serious relationship as long as they don't ever say or bring you away from your true goals and what you want to do. And if all you want to do is just date and not do anything and sit on a couch the rest of your life, remember I talked about those people, then do that. But if there's somewhere inside of you that wants to be better than that, then whoever you're dating should support it. That's, I mean, you could meet your future husband in high school. I don't know if you guys want to hear that, but the only way you're going to do that is if they support who you are and what you want to do. And that's huge. Sorry, I'm giving dating advice, but I think that's a really good question, though. Yeah. Any other questions? I mean, I'm really disappointing you guys right now. I mean, seriously. I mean, have I ever met Tim Tebow? No. I'll put it on my list. Okay. Yes.
Is it harder for you to hit off left-handed pitchers since you bat left-handed?
Yes, it is. Not all lefties, but Monica Abbott, Kat Osterman, who are both left-handed pitchers, I mean, I swear, have my number every time, because it's the curveball that breaks. So lefty pitcher, that curveball that all you righties, I have so much respect for you now. It's righty on righty, that curveball that breaks away from you. It is a tough pitch to hit. And Monica throws it, just backdoor curve. She throws it, looks like it's going to hit me. So I do like the jump out of the way, and it ends up like right over the middle of the plate. Total idiot. Like I swear it was going to hit me. And then she's got the one that it looks like it's going to be right over the plate, and I'm thinking, oh, fatty, I'm cranking this one out of the park, and it ends up like 3 feet outside. And I'm like, I swear it was a strike one starter. So lefty on lefty is very hard. But I think that's why more lefty pitchers are at the game. There's more hitters now switching to the left side, so you see more lefties, even if they're not. Like right now, the top pitchers in the country, Kehlani Ricketts and Whitney Canyon. Probably the top. Chelsea Thompson's really good too, but those two are lefty pitchers, and it's because there's so many lefties in the game now. The lefty pitchers are coming up, just like in baseball. Why, if you're left-handed and you're a pitcher, you have more chance to get to MLB than a righty.
What's your favorite position to play?
Favorite position to play? Well, since outfield is rule, and we're like the best athletes on the team. No, I just say that because outfielders never get any love. You know, it's always like pitchers first, and then like shortstops. So I always give outfielders. You know, I love catching. I was a catcher all through high school. Catching was probably my favorite position that you're part of every play, and I got to call the game. So like the brain part of me, I love analyzing hitters and figuring out where they sit in the box, and oh, let's jam her here, let's set her up for this, oh, change up, swing and miss. Like, I love catching. But to be honest, I love the outfield because I feel like the game a lot of times is makes make or break on the outfield. So if I make a diving catch in the gap that might otherwise have been triple and I can save the game, I mean, that to me, or if I throw out a runner at home, it would have been the go-ahead run. Like, I don't get a lot of balls in the outfield, but I feel like when I do, it's like the game's on the line. That's usually how it is. So that to me is my favorite. Catcher and outfield. Probably the two least recognized positions on the field. You gotta give them some love. What position do you play? Are you a pitcher?
You're a catcher.
Catch? Yeah. All right.
Like, since you're like a celebrity, like, what other celebrities do you want to be, like, athlete? Or have you met all of them?
I'm actually, honestly, and I think this is why like my role with ESPN works okay. I don't really care who any of the athletes are as far as what they've done. It's more about who they are. So like if I met Tim Tebow and he was a great guy, I'd be like, I'm really glad I met him and I'd like to meet him again. But if I met him and he was too cool for school, like blew me off, you know, I don't care what you do on the football field. I don't care what you've done this year. I'm not a fan. Like, that's my thing is I actually get more excited about athletes once I've met them instead of building them up to be superhuman. I think there's too many athletes that think they're superhuman, that think they're better than you guys. And to me, I'm like, you're really no different. You just happen to shoot a ball better, or throw a pass better, or hit a ball farther. But at the end of the day, like, we're all people, you know? So, like, there's really nobody, trying to think that, I feel like people that I met, Billie Jean King is someone, you can Google her. A lot of people go, who's that? Is that guy? If you guys Google Billie Jean King, she's an amazing tennis player. but she's more so an advocate that has done more for women's sports than you could possibly imagine. And she's a huge mentor of mine. I mean, literally, we'll walk out. She met the president last year, and she was late. She was at the White House. She was late to meet him. They had to go find her. It was because they had had dinner for her, and then she was going to go meet the president. They couldn't find her. It was because she was in the kitchen thanking every cook, every waiter, every person that had served her. And she was putting the president on hold. Because that's the kind of person she is. She cares about everybody. It's not just, you know, the big name people, you know. So anyway. I know it's not as cool of a story, like, you know, I had dinner with Alex Rodriguez or something like that.
You mentioned you played 3 different sports all the way in high school. You know, my daughter played English, well, not quite English, but plays travel soccer, travel softball, basketball, and everything like that. How much is too much? Because you mentioned travel, you mentioned playing too much sport, or not too much sport, but year-round too much. You know, some people want their kids to play one sport year-round versus taking a break. I mean, what's your advice? You probably mentioned a lot of coaches and people on that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. Like my parents, up until about 14, we used to take 2-week vacation in July, which, I mean, now probably isn't even possible, but I remember my travel ball coach benching me every time I'd come back. Because you did not leave in July. And I'm not saying take a vacation in July, but it was important. My dad, who was a division coach, he understood that we needed a break. And unfortunately, because of our schedule, July was the only time. But the winter, too, for me now, like, I still play, but I take a good amount of time, and I still train. And I think that's why playing other sports helps. But I do think your body, as you get older, especially high school and college athletes, you need a mental break. Like, this game gets so mentally wearing. Like, that, to me, I mean, like, when you first start playing, I would say it's like 100% physical. There's no mental. Like, you're just out there having fun, and you're just learning the game. When you're at my level, it's 90% mental, 10% physical. Like, I know what I need to do physically to be ready. But it's that other 90% that's like handling all the different aspects. And in high school, I would say it's probably 70-30. It's probably 70% mental, 30% physical. I'm not saying you're not doing all the things you need to do to get ready, but I think you need more. If you're playing soccer and basketball, and I think it's great to play all those sports, but make sure there's a time of year where you're just not doing, when I say not doing anything that you're mentally focused on. Like, go out and, you know, snowboard. Go out and do something that's fun and active, you know? Sorry, all the parents are like, I don't want my daughter to get hurt, but do something that is still active. I'm never going to tell you to sit on the couch because I'm not big on that, but I think doing something that just lets you escape. So when you get back and play, you want to be there. I get sad. I'm actually mad because softball is out of control right now, I think. I think girls are playing way too many games throughout the year, and there's no more break. And I think it's the college coaches from like the pressure of the scholarship, and now, you know, the families feel like they need to constantly be playing softball, like every weekend. And covering college softball, I see more players that are either getting hurt or burning out in college, which 20, 21 years old maybe, and you're already done, you're like, I'm sick of this sport. Like, that makes me sad because it should be, your daughter should always be at a certain point of the year. Now, yeah, maybe August, they might be getting tired, and that's understood. That's that time of year. I get tired in August. But if it's January and they're like, softball, that's not good. So I think my parents took me away from travel ball. Can you imagine? For 2 weeks, we'd go to Mexico, and we would do nothing. My dad brought wiffle balls, and we did on the beach. We could never really get away. But still, hitting wiffle balls on a beach was so much cooler than being, you know, at home doing all that stuff. So I thank them for that, because I never burned out.
What's your batting average?
My batting average? It depends on what time, I guess. In college, it was, I don't know the exact number, but it was probably like 440, 450, like career. And then, gosh, pro softball is a lot harder. This last summer I hit, I think, like 410. Summer before that I hit 290. So, I mean, it just depends. And we're playing the best, you know, like retired monocabic Cat Osterman. These are pictures we're facing. They used to be my teammates, now we get to compete against each other again. So my average changes all the time.
What's your training routine like?
My training routine? It's different now, being a mom, but it used to be kind of more, I'm big on working out and being in the gym. I think that's huge, mentally and physically, to have that edge. And you don't have to spend hours. Like I would spend 50 minutes to an hour in the gym, like 3 days a week, and do movements that aren't, I never did like heavy lifting. It was always, you know, softball specific movements. And then I usually spend about 2 days working on speed and agility, and then I hit. If it's near season, I hit almost every day. Off season, I'll take a good month or so where I'm not swinging the bat at all, just because I want to mentally, that's where the mental part for me is huge, is hitting. So I just get away from it. I'm like, all right, you know. So that's kind of what my training is like now.
You said that in high school you played basketball, soccer, and softball. When did you really figure out that softball was what you really wanted?
I think I figured out softball probably when colleges, when no one was calling me for any other sport. I was like, I mean, I always loved softball, but I think my sophomore year in high school is when I started to realize that I could get good at the sport. It took me that long to get to a point where I was good, where I was actually getting awards, and up until that point, I really didn't even play that much. You know, I was just okay. And it was like I just figured it out one day after playing for 10 years. And I started to get better. And that's when I think with softball I realized I love the different dimensions of the game. Like I love basketball and soccer, but I realized softball when I liked that it wasn't over if you didn't hit. You know, you went out on defense. Like there was always something that I had to work on. And I don't know, I like that. It helped that my dad was a coach too, because I had, whether I wanted it or not, constant coaching. So I was always getting more information how I could get better. I was never good enough, even now. My dad literally still calls me. It's like, when was the last time you hit? So I was noticing, I was watching some film from last summer, and I'm like, first of all, you filmed? I didn't even see you. Secondly, you're watching me on video, and he'll literally pick up things and tell me, and we don't see each other as much because I'm always so busy, but he'll call me and tell me what I need to work on that day. He'll be like, okay, so what are you doing today? Are you gonna hit? I'm like, Dad, I'm on an airplane. Well, what are you gonna do when you land? Are you gonna hit? I'm like, love you, Dad. All right, last question.
Okay. Are you gonna be like talking on the Women's College World Series?
Yep, I'll be doing the Women's College World Series this year. I'll tell you what, that's a cool place to go to. Women's College World Series. If you could take your daughters, I know it's not the easiest trip, although it's a lot easier getting them from here than California, but Oklahoma City to watch those, it is, to me, it's like Disneyland for softball players. There's something about the environment there. It's incredible. I love it. I absolutely love that place. Just for the Women's College. I don't love Oklahoma City, no offense. The Women's College World Series, we're there for 2 weeks with ESPN, and it's hard work, and I absolutely love it. All right, well, I know some of you guys that aren't going to be here tomorrow wanted some stuff signed, possibly, if you don't have to. Do we have any of the posters, too? Are those, no? Sorry, never mind, you guys don't get posters. Sorry. But I have a bunch of stuff that I brought on the back table. Some items for sale, actually. I have a signature ball that I designed. It's with Dudley. It's a blue box. Blue is my favorite color. And it has me hitting on it. But I did this like cool design. They made a bunch of them for me. And I have some photos and replica jerseys. And I got Love It, Live It t-shirts. And, and my teammate, Ashlie Charters, who's the second baseman for our pro team, she hand makes headbands. So you guys gotta check them out. They're really cool, all of these different colors. So I sell them for her because I think it's kind of cool that one of my teammates has her business where she makes headbands, so I take them with me myself. So if you guys want to check those out, if you guys have anything that you want to sign, if you are going to be here tomorrow, who's going to be here tomorrow? Oh. Awesome. Well, then all you guys get posters. You'll get a lot of cool stuff tomorrow. You have goodie bags. You're getting hooked up. But if you guys want to check out any of the items tonight, get a head start and everything else. All right, so thank you guys very much. Sorry. And you guys might hear some of this again tomorrow, but one of the biggest things that you guys should do, and I don't mean to like lecture and tell, but something I talk about my dad and my mom a lot, but you know, I mean, how many of you guys probably paid to go to the clinic tomorrow? Who paid by yourself, like you're out of your own pocket? My big thing, you guys, is I feel like we don't thank people enough. And I know it sounds cheesy, and I know I got a couple rolled eyes already right off the bat. But honestly, you guys, if it was not for my mom and dad, I mean, you guys think about this. I'm the girl that couldn't even run down first base, and my parents were driving me, buying me equipment, flying me to, I swear, Nationals is always in the hottest, worst place in the country every year. They spend their vacations watching me play softball and my sister. Summer after summer, year after year, their life was about us and softball. And if it was not for them, right? If it wasn't for them paying for you guys to be here tonight and paying for you guys to be there tomorrow, like, hello, I mean, it's like the coolest thing ever, right? Us hanging out, right? So just please do me one favor. Thank your parents. You don't have to do it in front of everyone. I know. Whoa. If you could, but and if you could do it, and when you do it, just mean it. Like, just take 2 seconds, look them in the eye, and say thanks. It will go so far. You have no idea. So please do that for me, okay? If you want to throw in a hug, it might be a lot, but if you want to, bonus, okay? But just mean it. Don't be, you guys, honestly, don't be the bratty kid. And this is what college coaches tell me all the time. They tell me the girl that they don't want to recruit, that they don't care how good they are, the first one to get crossed off the list is the girl in a softball tournament. When they're out there recruiting, and they get into the parking lot, and they see the girl, Mom, I ordered a turkey sandwich, not a ham sandwich. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you got this for me. Done. Don't be the girl that doesn't appreciate your parents. Seriously. You guys have been that girl. Okay? Don't be the bratty girl. Please thank your mom and dad. Okay?
All right, real quick before you go. First of all, I want to thank Jessica for the I think Burnell's gone, but our church cook, Burnell Jennings, for cooking the meal for us tonight. The sound going for us tonight, and the video. Thank you, Dale. And thank you, parents, for bringing your kids and for signing up for the camp and everything. Tomorrow, for everyone participating in the camp, the T-shirt actually has her little motto, the love it, dream it, live it on. So, but anyway, everybody will be getting a T-shirt and everything. But before we go, I do want everybody to kind of remember why we're here, and that's because of Ashlie. And it's you know, to take something tragic like that to try to help better, you know, you girls and help you promote the game and everything. And I do want to recognize Miss Brandy and Tony and Caleb and Mark's in the kitchen. But that's why we're here, and you know, we're here to help Ashley's memory live on along with the tournament that we do and everything. So definitely don't want to go without saying that tonight, because that's why we're here. So anyway, thank y'all for coming and being here and being a special guest tonight. So hope everybody got the email. And I hope everybody that's not here got the email. But we will not be at Baker Park tomorrow. We will be in the gym on Hainsworth Street.